Okay. So last week we did the telecommunication and network. So I mentioned I will explain more about this OSI architecture and OSI layer. And yeah, today you're gonna learn about the net, uh, which is actually the current way of configuring the internet. So OSI architecture is for just education purpose. It is the most suitable one, but however, ARPANET was introduced uh, in first. Nowadays, also we are using the same. So, so as I mentioned, OSI or the Open System Interconnection Model is the conceptual framework. That means it is not currently uh, using and only have the conceptual idea where each of the operation will do in as a mentioned in a 7-layer architecture. So it can easy for you to understand how this network communication is happening, and we can discuss what is happening in each layer. So there are 7 layers. The topmost layer is this application layer. So in that layer, it has the information about uh, user interfaces and those network accesses, applications. So applications are, uh, if you take some web application, like in this layer, we are talking about those applications, web application, web browsers, email clients, file transfers, like services. Those are like working as an application. So under that, in each layer, we are now reducing the context up to the small bit. So in the last physical layer, it has those network information as a bit or the like a bit stream. Like we actually cannot identify what is those bit it's about, but in the topmost layer application layer, we can know what is the task and what is this program is about, likewise. So in now we are going to keep digging uh, to at the very end. So next one is this presentation layer. So in this layer, we are talking about those encryption and decryption that we are using to communicate. Like in our network, we are not going to pass the whole message as like as same as it is, right? Because then it can be easy to intercept, and there can be many security problems. So there is a nice example for this one. Do you aware of postcards, right? In back in my early childhood, so there is something this card. There is some kind of a stamp here, and we can write the receiver's address and all here, the sender's address, right? So the other side, so other side of this card, we can put our message, right? And we can even put this card to the post box, and the postman will post into the relevant person, right? So no need to go to the post office or put a stamp. So it's already there, right? But the problem is the message behind the postcard can be seen by anyone, right? Uh, so that's the main issue. So in that case, if you are sending information through our network, then many can intercept it, many can change that information, right? So many security mechanisms are there. So uh, the encryption is happening in this presentation layer, right? So here we are talking about when we are passing a net information or the data packet through our internet, how the encryption and decryption and those sync and acknowledgement signals to create the link between. So those are discussed in this particular layer. Then there is those authentication where, like, if there is a client machine and server machine, there should be some kind of authentication. That means a secure login. So establish that connection. Those information will pass in this particular layer, right? So this has the connection between those client and server machines, and the session handling. Those information are also in this particular layer. So now we are keep digging. So in the fourth layer, transport layer, here we have the informations to get a reliable information. Like as I mentioned last week, where we are check whether the errors is our message is reliable. Likewise, uh, those informations are checked in this particular layer. So some protocols are using here is TCP and UDP. So like when we are downloading something, some movie, so we need to have the old data as it is. So in that particular case, we are using this TCP. And like when you are streaming video, like let's say you are flying a drone, and drone will send the information, right? Video stream. So in that particular video stream, if some part was distorted or something, then the video will not going to capture as it is, right? We in our mobile phone, where the drone is streaming the video, and we are capturing that particular video in real time in our mobile phone. But that connection should be real time, right? So if there are some information missing, we can't ask to send those again, right? So that particular cases, we are using this UDP protocol. So those protocols are in the transport layer, right? So like in TCP, what will happen is if something missing, we can ask them if that something missing is that particular data packet has an error, right? So those can be calculated by using those hashes, parity bit and all, right? If the particular data frame is has a data packet has some error in TCP, what we can do is we can ask again to give that information, right? Till it is errorless. But in cases like video streaming, likewise real-time data transfer is happening, we can't use TCP because it is not that real-time. If you're using that, it will pass the whole data as it is. But when we do need to do some real-time application, we cannot use TCP. In that case, we are using UDP. That means it will stream the whole byte, and we are capturing what is actually correct. So the missing part will be ignored in UDP. So the third layer, so it is the network layer. So it has those uh, addresses. That means that uh, when we are passing some information, there is a mapping to pass a logical address to physical addresses. That means this routing. So in that routing, we are know what is our actual location to pass. So how it is happening is when we are going to access a particular web page, right? So first is to go to a particular DNS server, right? From the DNS, the DNS means domain name service. So I think yeah, today you will learn about those as well. After DNS, they will put the what is the correct IP for that particular domain name, right? So then our packet will resend by using that particular domain, that particular IP. So how it is happening? It will be passed like the those domain name server is sending the necessary information. So there is a translation where happening logical addresses uh, as well. So the physical addresses are actually the MAC address. So MAC is the physical address. Logical addresses are those IPs. So those network addresses and how to identify the proper location will be happening in this network layer. So actually the routers are operate and data forwarded and those tasks will happen in this particular layer. So next, uh, right. So next layer is this data link layer. So data link layer has the information about this Ethernet and LAN. So here what will happen is at those uh, physical source and destination addresses. And here also what will happen, the errors of our bit stream, if there are any errors in our, as mentioned in the first physical layer, it operates in the as a bitwise, right? So here it will talk those bits are how those are going to pass. So the errors of that particular bits we'll check in here. So as I mentioned in transport layer, here it will check about the data packet, but here it will consider as a bitwise, not the particular data packet. Sorry, I think yeah, this should be the data frame. That means the whole information from physical layer to data link layer and the network layer. The whole uh, frames are here. So all informations are here, and here we have another hash to check whether that particular informations are error free or errorless. Here, in this data link layer, it will handle the data in physical form, right? So actually, the parity bit checking, like if there are some error, then we can say we can include that parity bit. So that will happen in this layer. Here, in the transport layer, it will check the hashing of our whole data up to physical layer to data link layer to network layer, right? So in this data link layer, it has the connection information. If you are using Ethernet, that means LAN, or wired, that means wired network, or if it is wireless, then Wi-Fi frames. Those how the packet is passing. Those informations are here. So that means the destination uh, address. That means we are sending a packet to a particular server. Then the server destination, server address, and those informations are mentioned in this data link layer. So as I mentioned in the physical layer, we are considering the network as a bit as a bits. So then we as a bits we how we are sending the information. So the copper cables, optical cables, if we are using wireless, those are radio waves, uh, those are considered in this particular layer. So this is you can study more in this diagram. It will show what are the responsibilities in each layer, uh, what is the mission is uh, the data is about. So in physical layer, as I mentioned, it is in the bits form. Then it is as a frame. In the network layer, it has the packets. So after that, we are sending segments. Then there is whole message. And in each layers, we are doing the necessary things like in session layer, we are establishing and authenticating. It's happening. In presentation layer, uh, so uh, as a data form, like so it will check whether the how this data is the format, and after that in application layer it handle the identifying the correct web application. So as I mentioned, the protocols on SMTP, that is the short message transfer protocol. So those are the second layer, presentation layer, that is about the format JPG, MPG, likewise. So here the network gateways, authentication, session handling, those are. So in transport layer, as I mentioned, here those TCP, UDP protocols, and even that the how the firewall also working, those information are in this particular layer. So in network layer, the routing. In data link layer, uh, the handling the addresses. Uh, like in not going to in the router in a uh, particular client data set, right? In the physical layer, it has the bit, it will consider the data as a bit stream. So how this data will transfer in each medium will be considered in this layer, right? These are some careers and services information you can go through with this, right? Yeah, you can go through with this information as well as the network management. That network monitors means how we are going to analyze those packets. Uh, likewise, so those informations are here. And about the network and the distributed processing. So as I mentioned, in each topology, there are several ways of communicating. Like in tree topology and node, they have some centralized processing. So star topology, likewise, they have decentralized processing. And even that there is a distributed processing where we are distributing the same communication over several machines. So data processing will happen in each places. Yeah, I think you can go through with this. So repeaters, bridge. So it has mentioned what are those and the tasks of them. So repeaters are just for repeat the same signal for an extended area, or it will increase the strength of the particular signal. So bridges we are using connect more network, and routers. So router will handling the packets between each network. and can able to determine the particular path. So then the gateways. So it's devices, monitors, control that control another network. So switches are hubs, just simple ports that we are connecting each network. So the telecommunication network is something like this. So there are a lot of information, lot of processing, and lot of things are happening to create this network. So I think you can go to learn more about this in by self-learning and all. So here I'm just give you an only a brief idea, right? So today also you are going to learn about more about those. So internet and extranet. So in OSILA, that is the conceptual idea. But here in the internet, we are learning how actually the today's world is using. Uh, what are the networks, what are the properties they are using to do the same communication. So internet and World Wide Web. So as I mentioned, the internet was built or was created in 19. It started in 1969 by the U.S. Department of Defense project called Advanced Research Project Agency Network. So that's why it's called up. So now it is evolved after 1987 as the National Science Foundation Network NSF. So it is the US government project. So the thing is, no one actually owns this one. So if you are connecting, we need to have our uh, public IP to connect to the internet. So that public IP will given by our internet service provider to our router. So then we can serve through internet, and so there are no particular owner for the internet. So last week, as I mentioned, so the backbone is created by using these fiber optic cables that are gone under the sea, right? So otherwise, it will be very will take very much time to even a single communication, right? So it can support high bandwidth. So so we need to have a network access point NAPs to connect to this internet. So to create this fiber and fiber optic cables and create the internet. So several companies doing those in the maintaining and all. And then so from this we are created the World Wide Web. So it is actually the graphical interface that is created 1989. It's a large text-based. It is a large text-based internet, right? So to use this World Wide Web, we need to know about this hypermedia and hypertext. So in World Wide Web, those are audio, text, videos, those are in hypermedia and hypertext. So I think you already see there are some uh, things that were underlined, and we can click them and we can go to that particular URL or particular location. So those are those hypertext. That means uh, those are embedded reference for a particular document or web page like this. So other thing that we are using is this domain name system. So it is for uniquely identify a particular uh, network address on the internet, right? So 888 48. So those are for Google, right? So likewise, there are uh, several DNS servers and The most efficient service, I think, one, so for 1.1.1.1. So those are the, I think, the most fast domain name servers. So why we need to domain name? Because when we are in the internet, we need to have a, as I mentioned, a public IP. IP means internet protocol, and we need to have a public IP address. So in IPv4 info network, it is a there are three digit number mentioned here, something like this. The maximum number in each place is 255. You can't use more number than 255. And every machine has this kind of a IPv4 address. So then after that, that means since this number can hold only limited uh, kind of machines, then were introduced the IPv4, IPv6. So I think you can do self-learning about what is this IPv6. It is not needed for this particular course, but however, each machines in the network, even your machine also need to have a public IP, right? So when we are creating a local network, also we need to create by using these IPs. The what will happen actually is only your router have a pool of particular public IPs, and when you are connecting to internet, so one particular IP will be connected. One particular IP from that particular pool will be connected to your machine. That means it shows that your machine is connected to internet through that particular IP. So in that particular network of the same network provider, uh, there can be many users like that, right? Right, there can be many uh, users for a same public IP. So what will happen is all them are going to will go to the internet with that same IP. But inside that router network, those have another local or the private IP, right? But when you go to the internet, it shows that you are going with that particular public IP. And on the router of the your service provider will know what is the actual IP. And then when you are, like, let's say facebook.com or something, when you go to the particular uh, web page, in that particular name also mention a particular computer, particular machine or particular server in the internet, and that server also have a particular IP under that particular name, let's say Facebook, and it has a particular IP. So we need to have a mechanism to derive that particular IP. Otherwise, actually, we can't communicate between those server and our client machine. So in that case, the domain name server will send the IP address corresponding to that particular domain name. Let's say Facebook. Then first we are connecting to the domain name server, and from that domain name server, it will map the correct IP for our domain name, right? So, and when you need to deploy a particular application to the internet, so one thing, you need to have a public IP. Then everyone can use the public IP to connect. But uh, the other thing is, if you need to have a domain name, then you need to request. Uh, so you need to request by using the Internet Corporation for Sign Name and Numbers. ICANN. If you have, so ICANN is the service provider to request such domain name from the to go to the internet with your domain name. So actually, since you can already access to the internet by your public IP, like when you are purchasing some kind of instance from Google or Amazon, AWS, or some even Azure. If you are purchasing a IP, then you can also direct go to the particular search through, and even uh, people in the internet also can come to your application as well using the public IP. Why we need the domain name system? Why we need the domain name system? So, Anima, why you think why we need this domain name system? Can you put the answer to the chat? Student, please put the reason why you need domain name system. That you already can use the internet by using a public IP, as I mentioned. So public IP is the reason that we can go to the internet. So why we need the domain name system? Yeah, Ratnayaka, we can actually uh, globally access any website by using the public IP. Let's say Facebook is in some particular IP, let's say uh, 200, 200, 200, 200. So we can go to the Facebook by just typing 200, 200, 200, 200. Right, as mentioned by Sri Nirulaksha. The thing is, domain name system can easy to remember. So it is very hard to remember 200, 200 or some uh, number, right? But Facebook.com, Google.com, it's very easy to remember and very user friendly, very easy. That's why actually we need this domain name system. So the task is converting domain name to the corresponding IP address. So so what is this URL? URL is uniform resource locators. So it is for identifying the web pages. So the www.facebook.com Those are our URLs. So there is a suffix facebook.com, google.com, and let's say some helakuru.lk for government websites .gov, right? There is some kind of a suffix. So those suffixes are indicating actually the top level domain. So how this domain name working? So to work this domain name, first we need to have some kind of a mechanism to identify this particular uh, name will be in this particular service, right? So those are handling by those top level domains, TLDs. So let's say if it is a .com, so or every .com web pages informations are stored in that particular domain name server. So we can request one of that domain name servers that are going to hold those .com URLs. So by going through it, that particular domain name servers, we can get our search our domain name. So there are several suffixes. So it will going to resolve at by starting at the very end. So likewise, so it says you see some government website there are several names .gov.lk. Likewise, there are several such suffixes. So from the very end, and it will keep deriving. So it say there are four such kind of name. So first it will suffix it resolves the very end suffix .lk, then maybe the next suffix, likewise up to the very end. So likewise you can derive the those domain names. So there are such two TLDs, so organizational and country code. So country code.lk.ca.au likewise. So these are some of their top level domains. EDU for educational, MIL for military. So info pages sign.info. And I think you will probably know what is this HTML hypertext markup language. So every web pages are in this HTML format. So I think you can self-learn about more information about these. So when you're coming to the internet, so there are several ways to connect. So DSL, ADSL, 3G, 4G. So those are several kind of connections. So now we have 5G networks as well. And there are some other things. So back in early days, there was those navigational tools. So in those navigational tools, we can go site to site to surf internet. Now we have using particularly those search engines. And there were directories as well. So they are indexing based on the keywords in each document. So in that indexing, it is very easy to find out the necessary thing that we are looking for using the search engines as well. So web browser search engines. So now it very least used, but never know with the recent integration of ChatGPT, so the Microsoft Edge. Now there is some more usage of this web browser, and most of them are currently also using this Google Chrome. So Apple has Safari. Likewise, they have some unique features also. So menu option, viewing about history, bookmarking, and you can even set in view preferences. So there are several such tools. And about search engines, and uh, so most of you are using probably google.com, and as I mentioned, uh, the Microsoft Excel Explorer or the Microsoft Edge Bing.com, now it is getting very famous, and there are other search engines as well, so you can go through more about them. So those are for just type something and you can retrieve the information based on your searching keywords. So there are several steps that we are doing. They are crawling the web. That means go through with each pages and all. And there are some mechanism to find out what is most relevant. So that will happen by using indexing. So you will probably heard about the term search engine optimization, where if you are need to deploy a particular web page to the internet or your web, um, so your, let's say your website. So if you did the search engine optimization and optimize the page, then it will be show in the very first search. So indexing need to be done to have more network traffic to your relevant web browser, web page. And the other thing is the search process. So the thing is this directories. So that means they are organized information categories. So some are automated and some are need to create by humans. So Bing.com decision engine uh, are some such kind of a directories. So in when you are internet, as I mentioned, there are several protocols, TCP, UDP, and as I mentioned, TCP to uh, will use for transfer the, if you need to get the whole necessary information, we are using this TCP protocol. So SMTP, uh, the post office protocol, that is for mail services. So those are used this TCP. So popular such services in internet are those emails, news group, discussion group, even internet relay chat, instant messaging, internet telephony means you can call through internet without having a telephone, like now in WhatsApp also you can do, but when you are using WhatsApp, when you need to use the WhatsApp, you need to have a phone number. But back in days, the uh, I can't remember. There are several such tools, even Facebook Messenger. What is that most famous one? So there were such popular services as were there to use these services. So this is only the few of things. Now we have several services. So one such service is this email. So it is widely used. So based for uh, there are two types: web-based and client-based. And there are several things we can do. Even we can do folder organization address book there where you can keep a address or again a particular email address for a person. And now we have spell checkers and prediction, and many services are available for just for these email services as well. So about others news group, so those are some online discussion group. So it will also you can use your email to join with this news group and chat groups. Voice over IP, that means those are uh, softwares for take a phone call by uh, using the internet, and it be internet video conferences, Zoom, and web application like Google Docs, Explore, Google Forms, and Google Slides likewise. And there are other web applications, even ChatGPT. And one thing is, some of these applications, they can be free of charge. So if those are free of charge, there should be a limitation. Or if we can pay, then we can have a better customer experience when you are using this web application. So the benefit is you can use this application anywhere with any simple device. You can connect to this application, and you can work collaboratively in these applications. All right. So we are learn about what is the internet and how we can connect to the internet uh, by using our navigational tools like those uh, that means web browsers, uh, Google Chrome likewise, and the search engines where you can go to the internet and search relevant information and directories and some services that are provided to internet. So now it is very popular, like internet gaming as well, where you can connect to some kind of a virtual world, and you can connect with every other person. So those are some advanced features of advanced services available currently through the internet, right? So those are about internet. So there is another term that is intranet. So have you ever heard about this intranet? Actually, all of you are using the LMS, right? So LMS is only for you, right? So, but the LMS also uh, can access through our internet. So likewise, it is a network within organization and that use internet protocols or technologies for collecting, storing, or any other activities. So we are using the internet, but the system is only for that particular organization or particular group. So our LMS is only for us, right? So such kind of applications are called this intranet. So it is under a particular organization. So LMS is in here in USJ, and it to get the access, we need to have use those internet protocols as well. And some of the companies use their internet to show their necessary information and about their business process and all. So those are in their servers. So it is not the LAN, that means local area network. So local area network also can connect to the internet, but it is for communicating each machines. But the intranet means it is hosted to some particular information or some particular things. And as we are surfing internet, also we can go to get the access for that particular page or a particular thing. Even some companies use their own email services. So it has only a limit access. So that means only the people of the company or if it is a university, then students and teachers, lecturers, those are only able to access that particular intranet. So some of applications are, as mentioned here, human resource management, sales and marketing, production, operation, accounting. So that means the salaries, those will be calculated the intranet under the particular organization. And that is about intranet. So what is extranet? Anyone? No? So anyone ever did like online bank transfer or something like that? So I probably consider you already done those things. I think maybe to transfer the funds for maybe application funds, maybe. So you can transfer by using uh, those electronic fund transfer or online bank. So that online banking is uh, is the particular internet for that particular bank. Let's say you are using uh, People's Bank internet, their electronic transfer mechanism, or Sampath Bank, and Sampath also have I think payment gateway as well. So they are intranet, right? But they are extranet for extranet for us. So what that means is we can use internet and those web technologies to connect the other uh, internet of their one of internet of those particular partners or business persons or banks or such kind of organizations. So those are considered as extranets. So some of them are this electronic fund transfer, even data interchange. So DMC. So it is a demilitarized zone where it differentiates the network and some organization line. So what that means is if you are uh, if you have an intranet that will connect other parties, then we need to secure the inside network, right? So if that means that particular network is accessed by other parties, then there should be a mechanism to secure the inside network. That means basically the LAN, local area network inside the organization. So there are some security mechanism also need to change needs to check when you need to create such a extranet. So these are some kind of advantages. So that means you can take the feedback from other parties and can coordinate with them and check whether they are satisfaction, and it is very cost efficient, right? So there is two things, right? Web 2.0 and 3.0. So in Web 2.0, it was those traditional web application, more interactive than that the traditional web application. So before the ChatGPT era, where we are just go to the ChatGPT and ask what is we want. So it has all the information way before 2021. But now in Web 3.0, so there are several intelligent applications that it will provide more, like it will provide actually the necessary information. So in Web 2.0, it will provide all the information, and we need to find out what is the necessary thing. Now, using this intelligent web application, we can easily search through what are the necessary things that we want. And one other thing is these blogs. So probably you also reading about Medium articles where someone put their work and you can refer them and uh, go through with the documentation and all, and you can do the same thing. So there are several blogs there are to create some application, even for creating those AI applications and all. You can follow a particular blogs, and some of them updating their news or frequently updated information for general public. So those are such kind of blogs. So they are also in this internet. And even when you are have a, so let's say in GCP, if you have a such machine, you can create your own blog site. And if you work hard, then you can get more network traffic as well. So likewise, there are several technologies and some wiki articles. That means the Wikipedia and all, where those have it's an encyclopedia where uh, the very where you can take more information. The problem is, or any user can add, delete, or edit something. So you need to check the uh, correctness or the reliability of the information. So that one drawback about the wikis, but it is very useful to gain knowledge. And some social networking site also, as I mentioned, Facebook, LinkedIn. So popular business site now, it is called X, the Twitter. So these are for connect with uh, your friends, family. So your colleagues maybe who are who left you in the A levels, O levels maybe. So you can keep the connection between them by using this social networking site. So you may know many usages about this. And one other thing is this podcasting. It's not very popular. I don't know what, but that is the reason. But it is very helpful when you are, let's say, when you are doing something. If you listen to a particular podcast, then you can update. So mainly the news podcast are usually used, but there are several more. So one other thing when you need to know about the internet is these limitations. So here I am discussing these two things, firewall and virtual private network. So firewall is to it has some kind of policy. So when you are going out from outside the internet, so firewall will examine every packet, and if there are some policy violations, it will going to block that particular port. So uh, I think as a number 503 or something. So there are violation. So you uh, cannot access that particular page. So one such thing is that HTTPS, if the web browser is only have HTTP, then that means it is not secure. That means the certificates of that URLs are not recognizable. In that case, the firewall will limit the access to that particular web page. So some if you are accessing those sites, probably your uh, video feed and mic input also uh, will be blocked by the firewall. And other thing is this virtual private network. That means uh, uh, you are creating a network with your machine and some another machine that is outside from you. And uh, when you are surfing, you are tunneling. That means uh, by using those tunnel protocols, you are creating a network that you are going to interact by using that private machine. So that private machine is connected to that particular network. So in that case, you can go to the internet, but it will be a different region or maybe in a different continent also. So you can do that using this virtual private network. So I think you probably know how to do these ones. And I think without using those services, because if that means you are creating such network, then it means there are connection between your machine and that machine. So if you don't know the security of that machine, then your machine also in some security threat. But let's say you can create a GCP, Google Cloud Platform machine, or Amazon or Azure machine, or DigitalOcean machine in some particular region. In that machine, you can create the virtual private network, right? So it is the most secured way. So otherwise, you need to buy some VPN service, right? So I think this is to you about the internet extranet. Yeah, we can conclude this lecture, and I will do take the next 1 to 3 session also. And in that session, I will do the 11th lesson. Uh, so I will show you that lesson. Yeah, this one. So your 9th and 10th lessons will be covered by Mr. Tarindu. Tarin sir will cover them. So I will do the 11th, 12th, and 13th. And 11 will be covered in today. So if you have any questions about telecommunication networks or about internet, please let me know. Or otherwise, we can wind up the session. Students? Yeah, I think I just give a brief idea what are the things you need to know. So please go through with them and do self-learning. Then try to use the handbook also. So in there you can find more information about these ones and yeah, be ready for your upcoming exams. So thank you, students. Thank you for coming. Please rejoin with 1 p.m. as well. Then we can go through with the our next session as well. Thank you.